Let's talk about this with two of the House Republicans kind of caught up in all of this chaos. Congressman Thomas Massie, he's joining us, Congressman of Kentucky, and Congresswoman Mimi Walters of California. It's great to see both of you. We were very excited to speak to you guys because we've both spoken to you separately previously about this race and what you thought. Congresswoman, when we spoke yesterday, you'd said that you thought that Kevin McCarthy, you predicted, was going to get unanimous support. We do not bring that up to poke fun. We bring that up because it just shows what a surprise that abrupt departure was when he dropped out was yesterday. What happened in your view?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a shock to all of us that he decided not to run. I'm still very supportive of Kevin. He has been a great majority leader for us, and he's extremely well respected in our conference. I think he did a selfless act by stepping aside, and that's a sign of a great leader. So here we are. We are reassessing, and we'll see where it takes us.
Here we are reassessing. In other words, Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is the person, it seems, Congressman Massie, that everyone is looking to right now. You have been not directly associated with the Freedom Caucus, but I think you more or less opposed Kevin McCarthy. Could you support Paul Ryan to be the next speaker?
You know, he's intelligent and articulate and a capable chairman, but some of conservative colleagues remember Paul Ryan's impassioned pleas for the TARP, the Wall Street bailout. He was asking them to vote for it several years ago. I don't have a problem with his ideology. I would want to talk to Paul Ryan about why he kicked conservatives off the Budget Committee when he was chairman of the Budget Committee. So I'm still supporting Daniel Webster because he has articulated for changing the process here in Washington, D.C., making us functional again.
Just to be clear, that is not a yes on Paul Ryan, correct?
That is not a yes. That's a yes for Daniel Webster.
But is it a no, though, definitively for Paul Ryan? Or are you just saying you need to hear more from him?
I need to hear why he supported TARP, and I also need to find out who or what compelled him as a chairman to kick a couple of conservatives off his committee.
Now, Congressman Massie, let me ask you this, and John brought this up earlier. Karen Tumulty of the Washington Post, she wrote this kind of about this situation, let's call it, in the Washington Post. Republicans are on the verge of ceasing to function as a national political party. You don't want Kevin McCarthy. You want to hear more from Paul Ryan. You're supporting Daniel Webster. He does not have a lot of support, though, amongst a lot of the caucus. Is this what you wanted?
You know, it surprised us all when Kevin decided not to run yesterday. What surprised us even more is that we had two candidates and Speaker Boehner called off the election. Daniel Webster would have won yesterday. He had more votes than Jason Chaffetz. So I think it's not fair to handicap Daniel Webster, at least until we have a vote.
Representative Walters, what's your message to Congressman Massie right now, who was one of the people standing in the way of Kevin McCarthy yesterday? Today won't commit to Paul Ryan. What do you think about the Freedom Caucus, people like Congressman Massie, who are holding out, this minority within the party? Less than 10% of Congress keep this from happening right now.
I just remember what Ronald Reagan used to say to us, you know, if I can get 80% of what I want, then we've won. And I think we all need to give a little bit. We're never going to find the perfect person because nobody is perfect. But what we have to remember is we have to put the American people first. And we have to come together and do the will of the American people. That is our fundamental job, our #1 priority. I am confident we will come together as a conference and we will elect a new speaker that everybody can support.
Congressman Walters, let me ask you this. Paul Ryan has said that he doesn't want the job. He's reconsidering now. He's saying that privately. I actually want to hear both of your guys' take on this. When it comes to holding this important role as House Speaker, do you want someone in that role who has said he or she doesn't want the job?
It's a very difficult job, and I think what Paul is doing right now, is he's thinking very hard if he and his family want to take on this, being Speaker. It's big family sacrifice. I know I'm a mom of 4, and I travel back and forth from California, so that's a big sacrifice in itself. And this is a decision that really, quite frankly, has to be a family decision, and I'm glad he's reassessing it, and my hope is that he would come to the decision, and his wife, that he wants to do this.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are deciding not to run for this job because it's usually the last thing you do in your political career. And Paul Ryan's young, we're the same age, and he's probably got a lot more ambitions and capability than I do. And he's got to study this long and hard. Is this the last stop in his political career? Because it usually is for most speakers.
Tip O'Neill, 1986, the last person to leave the Speaker's chair voluntarily. So there is history, and it's not good for people who sat there. Thomas Massie, Congressman Walters, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Keep us updated, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we will. In 6 minutes, it'll change.
Exactly. So stay right there. We'll be right back to you. You're now.